up, guys? Welcome to my channel, Summer's Room, and I'm here to recap some of my 600-pound life stories. I love watching these shows, but at the end, I always feel unsatisfied because we never know what happened. A lot of the stories don't tell us what happened after the fact. So I decided to do some digging, and I decided, why not fill in some of these gaps for you guys? So we're going to go back and we're going to check out the story of Allen and Vianey. They went into this weight loss journey together. Let's check it out.
I can't make it all the way to the back of the house, and that's where the bathroom's at. So I usually have Alan bring the basin with some water and soap and give me like a bath here in the bed.
So in this next clip, it's going to show them in Houston. But let me tell you guys what happened in the process of them making it to Dr. Now's office. Now, they had recruited 2 individuals to help them move because they wouldn't be able to move this stuff themselves. So they got these 2 people to come down there with them to help them move. And they had told them that they would get them back home. However, in their route to Houston, they end up spending all their money on what seemed like food. They went over their budget, which dipped into the money that they were supposed to be able to use to send these people back home. But not only that, they were on their way to an apartment complex where they had gotten an approval for, but they had to prove their income. And she didn't pull out the right paperwork to show them their proof of income. So they were not able to get the apartment that night because they were closing by the time they got there. So not only that, they had to sleep in their truck. So they thought they were going to have to sleep in their truck. But they end up finding someone last minute to send them some money from some family members from Mexico, is what I can recall, to send them some money. And they were able to secure a hotel room for the night. But the 2 individuals that were with them, they were pissed, which is understandable. I came down here to help y'all out. Y'all spent all the money en route to Houston on food. And then you didn't have your paperwork together. So we had to possibly sleep in a U-Haul van. But they worked it all out and they made it to Dr. Now's office. Check out what happens next.
Me and Alan were headed to see Dr. Now. This is going to be our first appointment with him in person. We've been working hard for almost 4 months now. And I know we've had slip-ups, but I'm really hoping that Dr. Now sees that me and Alan have both been working hard.
At this point, Dr. Now sees them and he gives them the diet plan. 1,200 calories, y'all know, high protein, little to no carbs. And he wants them to lose at least 50 pounds within the next month. And he will go forward with the program.
Me and Alan have made a lot of big changes to our whole lives with how we eat and our activity. We got rid of all the carbs and sugary stuff in the apartment, so there's no temptation around us. And we're completely sticking to the diet.
But are they really? Are they?
Here you go. Thank you, babe. All right. And we're trying to be a support to each other instead of enabling each other like Dr. Now said. So I motivate him and he motivates me to exercise. And I'm feeling confident that when we go back, we'll get approved for our weight loss surgeries.
So some good news is when they went back to the doctors, Vianey actually stuck to the diet. She did what she had to do and she ended up losing the 50 pounds like she was supposed to. However, Allen was being sneaky. He was the one that still was mobile. He was able to get around. He still was leaving out to go work. And, he drove. And when he would go out and he would get fast food. He would sneak and get food that he wasn't supposed to eat behind Vianey's back. And she had no clue because she was not with him. However, when they went back to the doctors, it showed on the scale he had only lost like 19 pounds or something like that. So I'm like, with how much he weighed, and if he had stuck to the diet based on what we know from watching the show, he would have been able to lose probably double the amount of weight that Dr. Now wanted them to lose within that 30 days. And he claimed he only would cheat once a week, but he couldn't have been cheating once a week. He had to been cheating every single day. So Vianey ended up meeting her goals, and she ended up getting approved for surgery. She went under the knife. However, she ended up coding, and they had to stop the surgery. So they didn't complete her surgery, which caused her to kind of fall into a depression. Disappointment. I can understand that. Going through all that, going under the knife, and then finding out that your heart stopped and you had to be resuscitated. You know what I'm saying? So it caused a little bit of tension between her and Allen, because Allen on the next go round end up meeting the goal for his weight loss, and he end up having surgery, and he's doing great. He's losing the weight. And so now sis looking at him like, bruh, you out here eating this little bit of food, this bird food, and like I want you to be big man again. You have, because he has to be successful regardless if she is. It sucks because they wanted to do this journey together, but sometimes you just can't get on the same page, especially after she had the traumatic event that she had. But then it makes me double back, like, your whole reason for coding is because of your weight. So like, wouldn't that kind of make you afraid to go back to your old eating habits because you're afraid? Like, I would be thinking, like, if my heart was going to stop, it probably was going to stop anyway. But it just so happened I was in this surgery when it went down. So I was able to get the help of the doctors because they were monitoring me so closely. So they ended up back at the hospital, but only after Vianey had ended up going on a disappearing act for months. She avoided Dr. Now because she was just in a depressive state, from what I understand. She ended up returning to the hospital, though, because her cellulitis was acting up and she ended up needing to be treated. And when she entered into the hospital, Dr. Now got her weight, of course, and found out she had gained weight. However, while they had her in the hospital treating her cellulitis, they put her on a controlled diet and they got her weight back down. And then she was sent back home. And she was supposed to continue her diet, so hopefully that she could get her surgery. However, COVID kicked in, which pushed some stuff back, and they ended up going home to his hometown, Arkansas, where his family was, to stay while they waited for things to open back up, and they ended up staying there for longer than they intended. And got waste food just to have a meal with his girl. My goodness. That's heartbreaking, but also dangerous, because if he's overfilling his plate, and it sounds like he has some awesome willpower though, and he's throwing away. But if he's trying to sneak and make her feel comfortable, in those instances, he has to be eating more than he really wants to. Although he's stopping himself, he's still probably going over his capacity to make her feel comfortable. And that's just not fair for him. Earlier on, like, I understood about her coding and stuff like that, but the whole reason for her heart not being able to get through it is because of all the weight that she has on her. So that should have been like an encouragement. But I've never been where she is. Although I've struggled with my weight for a long, long time, I've never been as big as she is. I don't know what it's like to be at her point. You know, I know we all handle things differently, you know, but I would hope that she could get it together. You know, somebody telling you it's your life or death, I would think would be like a wake-up call, but I guess not. Many people are told that and don't change. On the hunt to find out what happened after this episode, hoping to find some good news, but unfortunately, they became homeless after that episode aired, and they struggled. They were living in their car and things like that, and I came across some posts that I found that Vianey had posted to her public Facebook page, and this is what some of them said. Now, I tried to put these in order the best way I could because I couldn't get them off her personal page because her page is nowhere to be found now. I got this off of Reddit. Vianey had wrote, "We became homeless after the filming of the We Are You Now episode and have been living in their car and bouncing around from car to wherever they could find shelter. Allen's mental health has declined greatly, trying to figure out how to get back on our feet and hopefully get mentally stable." And some people were responding, you know, asking about the pay and things like that in the comment section. But then Vianey revealed something I honestly suspected, but I wasn't sure. I thought he just had like a southern drawl. Maybe he was from Louisiana or something, because somebody had mentioned, like, they noticed that she only spoke about her husband. What about her mental health? And she mentioned that she also is struggling with her mental health, but her husband is struggling harder than she is since he's mentally challenged. Now, I didn't know. His mind is of a child. It's my nature to mother and protect him. Physically, I'm having a hard time being in a homeless situation, but mentally, it's harder for him to deal with. This situation, he needs to stabilize himself first. So she put him before her. And then she went on to say further, at first, people thought Allen was from New Orleans, which I did, because they kept saying he has a weird accent. And then they finally were like, oh, that's his speech impediment, which he has had all his life. Allen is borderline autistic or on that spectrum. He has a lot of problems in social situations. He even says he wants me to order for him at restaurants and fast food places. When people don't understand that I have a special needs husband, they automatically attack me saying that I am a bossy or controlling wife. And I'm like, well, he's asking me to be his mouthpiece. I guess some people don't pick up right away that he's disabled. I don't expect anyone to understand what it is to be married to someone who has special needs. I love my husband, and that's all that matters. She goes on to say, I've been with Allen for 13 years, and when I met him, he lived with his grandmother due to his mental disability. After we became a couple, she granted me custody of Allen, and at that point, I became his care person. Believe it or not, I wasn't 600 pounds my entire life. I was actually the one who was bathing Allen and doing things he couldn't do. He was almost bedridden, and then I became immobile. But anyways, Allen lost his grandma right before finishing the new episode, and he regressed mentally, and as of now, we are in a home and no longer homeless. But Allen has been legally blind and can no longer work or drive and can't deliver packages or anything else. It's been a hard battle. Sadly, it's all connected to the show and the surgery and lack of support. He was not candidate for surgery and should have never been through the process of getting surgery. Why would weight loss surgery cause him to regress? Why would that have been an issue? Anybody know that? That kind of makes me whatever. But it does, the stuff that she wrote does make sense. She dropped a photo of him in the glasses that she bought him from Dollar Tree to help protect his eyes from the sun. She goes on to say he's not able to see, so I have to read for him. And also with him having a brain injury and being mentally challenged, Allen has learning disabilities. His reading and writing is of a middle school child. Physically, he might be 45, but mentally he's around 15. He's a man child, so I do have to be an advocate for him. I thought everyone knew that about him, especially when people troll and call him Bobby Boucher from The Water Boy. People could be so mean. People were bullying him on social media. Social media is a bad place sometimes, man. A follower of hers chimed in and said he didn't appear to have the mind of a child in either of the episodes. In fact, he appeared well-spoken and self-aware, able to take care of himself. What changed? Well, she said that his grandma passed away, and that probably affected his mental stability. But with her saying that he had a disability, it does make sense to me. Some of the way that he spoke, some of the things he did, the way he worded some things, it makes sense. And she goes back in to explain again how long she's been with him for 13 years, and they were married for 10. For the first 10 years, he was just dealing with being mentally challenged, and he was a delight. But the past 3 years, he developed mental illness, and that's where he has really declined and made it challenging for us. Being homeless for a year didn't help either. I appreciate your support. Thank you. And if that wasn't enough, shortly thereafter, after they got a place to stay, their vehicle was stolen, and she said that's all they had for transportation, for dinner, for doctor's appointments, and so on and so on. So they turned to social media for help. But I don't think they ever met that need at all. And then sadly, shortly after this, because this was 9/1, this was posted December 9th, Vianey had passed away. She never got the weight loss surgery. I'm not sure what she passed away from. I can only assume that it had something to do with her weight, since her heart was still under stress. They turned to social media again for help with her end of life needs. Dang, I was hoping that this did not turn out this way, and I'm wondering how he's doing. I did check out his page on Facebook. He seems to be, I guess doing the best that he can. He puts up a few things, but he doesn't say much. But I hope that he's progressing and that he has the support that he needs. And I hope that he went and got that skin removal surgery eventually. But let me know what you guys think in the comments. I plan on doing more of these because I hate that all the episodes that we find are not always put together. And a lot of times we end up not knowing what their ending was. So, I hope y'all enjoyed this compilation. Put your thoughts and comments, suggestions, your likes, your dislikes in the comments so I can know how to carry on from here. Thank you. Bye.